Hello, this is Robin. I just wanted to tell you a story that illustrates the point that we never know what kind of impact we're going to make on someone's life with even the smallest of acts. In this story, it's more than a small act, but I remember something from when I was a teenager, and it really affected me in a positive way for the rest of my life. It had the most positive impact on me, and it stays with me until this day. And it's a story I haven't told too many people. Maybe like one or two people in my whole life know this story, but I wanted to share it because it illustrates that point perfectly. Not only is it a personal story for me that I really just want to tell and share, but it illustrates that we never know what kind of impact we're going to make on someone's life. Um, Sometimes we can know somebody for a very brief period of time and not know whether or not we made a difference in their lives. Well, this story, not that this story will say, oh yeah, every time you meet somebody, they make an impact on your life. Sometimes we forget people, but sometimes we don't. Sometimes something someone does for us, even years and years ago, can stay with us for the rest of our lives. So anyway, I tend to be a little long-winded. I'll try to watch that a little bit. And here's my story. So when I was a teenager, my parents drove me after school half an hour away to an art school where there were art classes, like more advanced art classes. So I think it was like once a week. So I went, and the teacher, there weren't too many kids in the class, maybe five, and none of them like were really into art. They were just kind of there. The parents dropped them off at school after school, to give them something to do. I remember they were really nice kids. I liked them, but the teacher could kind of tell that, I was already oil painting at that point. I was already drawing. I was already copying. Like, I had already copied the Mona Lisa. Not that it was very good, but I don't know if I have that on my website. Anyway, I'll have to put that up on my website because it's kind of interesting to see a 13-year-old's version of the Mona Lisa. But anyway, so back to the story. In the class, so this teacher, he worked with me. He saw that I was like genuinely interested. I wanted to draw, I wanted to paint, I wanted to learn. So he worked with me. He gave the other kids assignments too, and sometimes they were the same as what I was doing. It was what he was telling me to do, but he had me doing things like that were really cool. He would say, like, he would set up a bunch of these metal stools on top of a table and say, well, draw the little, the little angle lines, the angled lines where the chair lines intersect. And the whole drawing would be these little angle lines. Or he would have one of the other kids like be like a model for me, and he would say, okay, be like 10 seconds, 20 seconds poses and draw it really fast. And then he also taught me, another thing he taught me was that to draw, he said, try doing a drawing where you are not just, your subject matter is not just in the center of the page. He said, go off the page, let the lines go off the page and feel free. And I thought, that's really cool. So like each one of these things was like a different class. I have no idea how long I went to that school. It was like equivalent to probably a spring maybe, or a fall. I don't remember what time of year it was, but I remember that teacher. And I know it was like, it can't have been even 1980. I think it was before 1980, and it was a school in Great Neck, New York. No idea. I don't know if it exists anymore, how long it was there, but anyway. So this teacher, the last day of class that I was there, I saw him pull my mom aside and ask her a question. I thought, uh-oh, what did I do wrong? Of course, that was like my automatic worry, because I worry wart. And it turns out, so then he sat down with me and he said he wanted to talk to me before, it was the last day of class. So what he did is he told me that he had worked for an older artist who was kind of well known, who was from Russia, and the artist had just passed away, and the artist had given him, the teacher who was teaching me, the older artist had given him a notebook that belonged to him, and my teacher in that class, he said, and here it is. He said, I want you to have it. I want you to know that you have talent, and for you to always remember that, and to don't give up on your art. So I'm gonna cry as I'm telling the story. So anyway, first of all, of course, the work he did with me in class, aside from the assignments he was giving to the other kids, it's like that personalized instruction, because he knew I was really into art, meant a great deal to me and still stays with me till this day. But, and it's not the notebook itself, it's what he said, because there were times when over the years, I doubted myself, and really art saved my life. I can say that honestly, because home life was not always perfect, and school life, as I grew into being a teenager, I was like the class weirdo, and I got made fun of a lot. 7th grade was the worst. I got tormented like hell in class. It was terrible. Kids chasing after me with sticks at lunch hour, getting me on the bus, following me home, all this stuff. Anyway, it was terrible. I was bullied terribly. So art really meant a lot to me, because home life was crazy, could be crazy, and then school was very scary, and I was very shy because I was a little different. So I had stacks and stacks of books next to my bed. I would hide out in my room and just read and look at art books over and over, and I would write in my journal. So I started painting at a young age. When I went to this school, I might have been 13 or 14. I think that's how old I was. So I had already been oil painting for a few years by then, but of course I was a kid, a kid oil painting. So anyway, but this teacher, I don't know where he is now. I don't know what his name was. I have no idea what his name was. I don't even remember the name of the school. I'm pretty sure it was in Great Neck, New York. But whoever he was, I wish I could thank him, because that boost of made to feel special when someone shows you, not that I think I'm all that, I'm not. I see so many artists that I admire. I'm always thinking oh God, that artist's work is so beautiful. I wish I painted like that, but you know what? I paint like me. So that's the way it is. So but what he did, the way he gave me that boost, through believing in me, through working with me, but also what he said on that last day, the fact that he wanted me to have something to hold on to. And I don't know if I would have remembered that class and him as much. I think I would have remembered his teachings, because they were really, he really taught me how to see differently than I had been taught before that. But yeah, I have to show you. He gave me this is the notebook he gave me, and it has Russian writing on it. I think it's a sketchbook, and it smells really old and wonderful. I love the smell of old books. This is what he gave me, and I hold on to it until this day. Whenever I need a boost, or to believe in myself as an artist, because it's tough being an artist. Artists know. We all need somebody who believes in us. And I don't know where that man is now, but I say thank you to him. Because all I have to do is look at this, and it brings the whole memory of that class back and of him talking to me, and he was sincere. I could tell how sincere he was, and he really wanted to give me a boost and help me to believe in myself as an artist. And God, I don't even remember his name, but thank you if you're out there, wherever you are, whoever you are. Thank you. This is like over 35 years later, and this still means so much to me. And I'll never forget what that person did for me by helping me to believe in myself as an artist. And thank you. And you never know. You never know. And teachers especially. Teachers, I had an amazing teacher in high school as well. Alice. She knows who she is. I have thanked her many times. I'm still in touch with her. But this man was at, a separate school. He was not in our school. He was in a separate art school half an hour away in Great Neck and New York. And he had dark hair. This was like the late 70s. So he had dark hair down to his shoulders. I think he looked kind of like what I would imagine Rasputin or something to look like. Anyway, but he was very kind, and he was a really good art teacher. And I just want to just say thank you. I'm just saying thank you. I'm saying thank you. Whoever's watching this, thank you. Because whatever you do to inspire people around you, you may not know what you're doing to inspire people, but I bet you are. If you work with people, and especially if you're in any kind of teaching, doing any kind of teaching, you're inspiring people. Well, it depends on what kind of teacher you are. They're bad teachers too. I won't get into that, but I've been very blessed to have a lot of good teachers. But this man left me with something that I'll treasure for the rest of my life, and it's not. Yes, it's the book, but it's also what it represents and what he said to me, and how it made me feel, and he gave me that necessary boost that is staying with me my whole life. If I haven't forgotten it now, I'm not going to forget it. So I'll remember it for the rest of my life. So thank you. I wanted to send out a thank you. And just, you never know who you're going to inspire. And whatever you do, you might think it's small if you do something for somebody, but it can stay with them the rest of their lives. So never hesitate to do something kind or that you think boosts somebody else. What he did stayed with me. Anyway, here's my story, and I'm gonna end now. I love this book. Can anybody translate this for me? Can you see it? If anyone can translate that for me, I'd appreciate it. Okay, thanks. Thanks for watching. Peace, everybody.